I've been everywhere, and I've done everything. Same as you. Think we're different, but we're the same, just different problems in the brain.
Yes. Told ya. I'm back. I'm back. Da-na, da-na-na. I'm back in the saddle again. Oh, fuck that. Seriously, fuck that. Not a huge Aerosmith fan. And Steven Tyler, please just fucking go away. Oh, that ugly fuck, huh? But we're not here to talk about Aerosmith, the Sex Pistols, Nevermind, the Bollocks. Number 22 out of my top 50 albums of all time. And right off the bat, the reason that I love this album as much as I do, it is Johnny Rotten, or his real name, Johnny Lydon. That voice was so unique, and it still is. No one has ever sounded like that. And I would never say that Johnny Rotten has this amazing voice. No, he's not a singer, but that voice it's so iconic. You know, the way he rolls the R's, you know, history, you know, and the snottiness and all of his words. It's fucking beautiful to me. And Steve Jones, and you can tell that when you listen to this album, and this, 1977, how many tracks did they use on the guitars? It has to be a shitload, because the guitars they're the loudest I've ever heard on a fucking album. And don't get me wrong, because I love that. Trust me. Like I said before, I'm a guitar player. Crank that shit up. But the production of this album is so perfect. It really is, because it's powerful and it's raw at the same time, like a punk album should be. And that's why it's number 22 on my list. And the lineup, and I'm going to make sure that we understand the lineup. Obviously, Johnny Rotten, singer, Steve Jones on guitar, Paul Cook on drums, and Glenn Matlock on bass, not Sid Vicious. Okay? And that's another thing. I had the movie Sid and Nancy. It's a great movie, because Gary Oldman is an amazing actor. But people should not be wearing Sid Vicious t-shirts or buying his shit and his music and making him out to be some kind of icon. He couldn't even play the bass guitar. I have their performance from Texas. I got a bootleg copy of it. Yes, I said bootleg. And I found out reading about that concert, and in every concert that he performed with them, they turned the bass all the way down because he didn't know how to play. The only reason they picked him to be in the band was for his look. And he, you know, it's like it's all a show, you know. And you know, he stabbed his girlfriend to death when he was high as fuck on heroin. It just bothers me. It's like the Charles Manson thing. People that buy his music and his shirts and all that shit. He's a fucking asshole. But Glenn Matlock is the one that recorded the bass guitar on this album, and he deserves credit for that. Alright, how does this album kick off? Holidays in the Sun. I don't want a holiday in the sun. The minute you hear that voice, I know the first time I heard this, and by the way, this is a cassette, so it'll be a cassette style review. I'm just like, wow. And I remember the first time I heard Anarchy in the UK, it was not from the Sex Pistols, it was from Megadeth. And I liked it, you know, at the time, and I just never paid any attention. It was about 4 or 5 years later that I decided I would check out this album. Holy shit, I am so glad I did. And then later on, after that opening line, Johnny Rod, I want to see some history. Yeah, where he rolls the R's. And that big wall of guitars, that's what I call it. Just a heavy, loud, powerful song. That's how you kick off a Sex Pistols album. Then we get to song number 2, the song about abortion. And this whole song is summed up with one verse, the third verse in the song. Fuck this and fuck that, fuck it all, the fucker, fucking brat. She don't want a baby that looks like that. I don't want a baby that looks like that. Bodies are not an animal. Yeah, when I saw the title Bodies the first time, I was like, what the fuck is this going to be about? Holy shit. And remember, 1977. That shit's shocking back then. It's shocking now, but of course, people would twist it in their own way. Oh, so they're for killing babies. No, they're talking about the horror of abortion. Pay attention to the fucking words, people. Everybody gets their panties up in a bunch today about what people say, but sometimes you gotta dig in deep and really understand what the fuck they're talking about. Whoever it is. Alright. Song 3, No Feelings. And this whole song is about basically loving yourself. I got no feelings for anybody else except for myself, my beautiful self. I kick you in the brains when you got down to kneel and you pray to your God. Yeah, he's out there this album, I say he's out there. In this album, the whole idea is to be offensive and loud and scary. I think it worked. And I'm really emphasizing the time that we're talking about, the 1970s. We're talking disco, and people all high on coke and listening to the fucking Bee Gees. So I'm sure this was a shock to the system. Song number 4, Liar. Liar, liar. He sounds a little bit better than that, by the way. You're in suspension, you're a liar. I'm nobody's fool, and I know all, because I know what I know. And I read somewhere that the drummer, Paul Cook, which, when he was drumming, and this is just some kind of gossip story, because people make up shit. And you really don't have to make up anything about the Sex Pistols. They have enough shit to talk about. But when Paul Cook was drumming, he got pissed off because when his drum sounded different after they mastered it, and he's not on the... you don't hear him like you should. What the fuck? See, and that's one of them things, somebody just making up shit, putting it on the internet. Listen, he sounds fucking great on this album, right? It just blows my mind when people make shit up, and then other people act like it's true, and next thing you know, oh, it happened. Paul Cook didn't like the way his drum sounded on Nevermind the Bollocks. Problems. Song number 5. I just like the opening line on this. Too many problems, why am I here? And then towards the end he says problems over and over. Now, this song is kind of weak. I gotta be honest. Not one of my favorite songs from him. This one does, like, even when his vocals sound lazy, like he's not really into the song. And that's kind of opposite of Faster Pussycat. There's a couple skippers on here. I mean, you can fast forward the cassette on that song because the next song makes up for it. God Save the Queen. That guitar riff. Just that. And it's a simple palm mute riff, but it's so thick and heavy. Fucking love that guitar tone from Steve Jones. God Save the Queen. Da-na-na-na-na. The fascist regime. That made you a moron. Da-na-na-na-na. A potential H-bomb. God save the Queen. Da-na-na. We mean it, man. Yeah, once again, had to get those sound effects in there for you. Yeah, I love that song. I love playing it on guitar. Simple, loud, heavy. And obviously they wanted to bitch about the Queen. Okay, so we flipped the cassette over. What do we got? We got 17. And these lyrics are funny to me. You're only 29. You got a lot to learn. But when your mommy dies, she will not return. I'm a lazy sod. I'm a lazy sod. And the lyrics, when you look them up online, mommy is spelled like mummy. So, and that's how he kind of sings it. When your mummy dies. And the line here, when your mummy dies, she will not return. Well, I hope not, because she's fucking dead. Right? Come on, Johnny. I'm not going to rip on Johnny too much, though, because it is what it is. The Sex Pistols, they don't give a shit. Did you make a mistake? Probably. I ain't fucking changing it. And then, of course, we get to Anarchy in the UK. And if you've not heard the 25 different versions of the song, then obviously you've been living under a fucking rock. You know? You know. I am an antichrist, and I am an anarchist. Don't know what I want, but I know where I get it. Did that sound like him? Not really. But you've heard the song. I don't need to go into it. It's been played a lot. Alright. Third song, second side. Okay? Or side B. We'll call it side B. How about that? Submission. Submission. Going down, down. Dragging me down. I can't tell you what I've found. Submission. And, you know, earlier I said he sounded like he wasn't into the song. And, you know, I probably shouldn't have put it that way, because he does sound that way sometimes, because that's part of the act, you know. He can never sound like he's really excited about something. You know, you got to stay pissed off all the time to capture the angry effect. And then we get to Pretty Vacant. Love that nice little lead guitar riff. It's kind of simple. You know what Steve Jones does on that. And there's another cool story about Steve Jones. Like the first guitar he ever owned, he stole off the back of somebody's truck. That's fucked up. But hey, it worked. In fact, if I remember the story, he actually used that guitar to record on this album. Don't quote me on that, though. I just think. Alright, Pretty Vacant. There's no point asking, you'll get no reply. Oh, just remember, I don't decide. We're so pretty, oh, so pretty. Well, they can't. And then New York. Oh my God, I did not pay attention to this song before. It's a good song. It really is. It's catchy. But he is ripping, mainly the New York bands, you know, in the punk scene, but mainly the New York Dolls. You're hippie tart's hero because you put on a bad show. Oh, don't it show? You better keep your mouth shut in a rut. You're just a pile of shit. You're coming to this. You poor little faggot. You're sealed with a kiss. And he keeps going here. A kiss, sealed with a kiss. Oh, kiss this gay boy. I take it Johnny Rotten is not a big fan of the Sex Pistols. Yeah, we get that from that song. And then, of course, this album ends with EMI. Another simple but heavy, crushing riff from Steve Jones. An unlimited supply, and there is no reason why. And you thought that we were faking, that we were all just money making. And then, of course, you know, EMI, da-na-na-na. And that's the record label that kicked him off. And, you know, he wrote a song, you know, ripping on EMI. EMI, goodbye, and yeah, that's how it works. So the Sex Pistols, at this time, when you hear this album, to me personally, and I know the lyrics are reflective of the time, but this fucking album could play today and it would still hold the same effect, you know? And I know that a lot of the shit that we hear now, there's nothing we haven't heard. Fuck the rap songs, right? You know, fuck the hoes, fuck the bitches, smoke this crack, you know, I'll kill your ass, motherfucker. You know, nothing really shocks us anymore. But when you hear this, and especially the song Bodies, okay, you got an entire song of him, you know, talking about dead babies. That's still gonna shock some people, you know. Me personally, it takes a lot to shock me. Or it's like the horror movie thing, you know. It's so fucking weird. I can watch people get their fucking heads chopped off, you know, eyeballs pop out, blood and guts just shooting out of somebody's stomach. But to see somebody get their blood taken, oh God, it just fucking, I can't do it. I know, call me a bitch. When I see that, it just, ugh. But that's what I'm saying relating to this album. You know, some people are easily shocked, others aren't. But I really do. I love the production of this album. I'm telling you, this cassette, you put it in the cassette player, and by the way, my tape deck, dual cassette deck, still plays really fucking good. Sounds awesome. This cassette is so much louder than my other cassettes. It really is. It just fucking booms out of the stereo, and I love that. And it really is. But Johnny Rotten's voice, above everything, is what really sells the album for me. And I've said this ad nauseum too. It's not how many notes that you can hit, it's how unique your voice is with the music. Bon Scott, everybody talks about Bon Scott. Oh, I don't know if he was really that. I mean, he's an okay singer. No, he was a really good singer. And he had an awesome voice. Right? He ain't nobody that sounded like him. There never will be. That was the appeal. So, and just like Faster Pussycat, this entire album's up there, you know. And I'll link it to my Facebook page, Headbangers and Hooligans. I'll make it easy for you. And there you go. Number 22 out of my top 50 albums of all time. And I'll be doing this every Friday, as always. And next week I'll just do one. Just one. This is kind of a catch-up day for me. Alright, you know how I do this. Take it easy, and if it's easy, take it twice. I'm out.